BnB versus AirBnB. Hi, I'm Yvonne, your host of Wild Travels. Welcome back to another segment. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the little bell. I call it the dinner bell, as it lets you know every time Wild Travels publishes a new video. Today we're going to be discussing the differences between a B&B, which is a bed and breakfast, and an AirBnB. And a lot of times as a travel agent, I get questions all the times about certain industries and what's going on. And so Airbnb is really taking the industry, the accommodation and hospitality industry a little bit by storm. So we're getting a lot of questions. And so once I get so many questions and so much interest, I really think it's time to address that particular industry. So Airbnb came about around 2008. It is an online marketplace where basically a brokerage online marketplace where people can go. They advertise space in their home, their private home, and people go in and decide that they want to book and stay there. Basically, it offers, for the most part, a little bit of a savings for people, more so than some of the regulated industries. A bed and breakfast, on the other hand, is a regulated industry, much like hotels. So you're going to have these individuals in some states. They may have to have a license. They have to adhere to fire codes, building inspections, food service licenses, registration of that business name, sales tax, as well as zoning for that property. Whereas a Airbnb is not subject to any of that. So what I usually refer to them when people ask me, they are basically a non-regulated industry. So what does that mean for you as the traveler? Like I said, in most cases, the bed and breakfast is going to have a licensed professional, meaning that, there's going to be strict guidelines, as I've already mentioned. You're contacting the business owner where you will set up with them and get to speak with them. Most of them have experience in the hospitality industry versus someone that just has space in their house, may not have any industry experience at all. When you go into a bed and breakfast, they're basically creating a space for you. That could be just that specific room. You're going to have a place to put your clothes. You may have coffee and tea in your room. And with a Airbnb, you could walk into an empty space. You basically don't know what you're getting until you actually arrive at that location. So they could have just left, for the day or the weekend and left all their clothes in the closet, and you may not even have any place to put your clothes, or the place could be completely empty. There may not be sheets and pillowcases and towels and toiletries and things that you would normally need. And again, some people are not bothered by that, but for those that are not familiar with how this industry works, it's pretty important because it can be a little bit of a shock when they arrive and realize that, these things are not provided. In a bed and breakfast, the host is going to provide a breakfast cooked from scratch. Some of your best meals, some of your best gourmet meals, or you will find in a bed and breakfast. And so that's, kind of some of the things that a bed and breakfast offers. There's also, with a bed and breakfast, you're going to have an on-site staff. So when you arrive to a bed and breakfast, someone's going to be there to show you around the facilities, and they may be able to share with you where the activities are, sightseeing things in that city. They're there to answer any questions. It's part of what they offer as part of their professional services. When you get to an Airbnb, there's not going to be anybody around. There is no customer service on site once you arrive at that particular facility. There's also, with an Airbnb, there's going to be limited flexibility. I mean, what you see is what you get. Whereas with a bed and breakfast, you may, if you're traveling alone, then you book that particular space. Or if you're traveling with your family, you may get the option to use the whole house, including the deck and whatever else they have. There may be things, for you in the refrigerator, things of that nature. Also with a bed and breakfast, you're going to have complimentary things like your Wi-Fi and your parking, whereas with a Airbnb, there may not be parking at all. And if you do include anything like a Wi-Fi, the expense can be pretty exorbitant. So those are going to be some of the differences. Now, on a personal note, I have heard some of the instances where folks have booked Airbnb a year in advance for a number of people, and then only to find out at the last minute that their booking has been canceled, and now they're having difficulty getting their money back. And again, because it is a non-regulated industry, that you will run into this problem. On the side of not just the traveler, but the host, there's been reports that they've ended up having squatters in the home. So what do you do then? Now you've got to take them to court, or you can't just put them out. They're in your personal home. You would never have that in an industry or a hotel or a facility that's regulated by the state. People just can't squat there and decide they're not going to leave. They can do that in an Airbnb. So I hope this has been helpful to you. Again, just some quick tips. And again, it's not to say I'm for or against. I'm just trying to answer some of the questions that I get. And at the end of the day, you just need to do your due diligence. If you're going to book one of these facilities, I would say go online, read all the reviews, look at the experience that others have had with that particular homeowner or whoever the person is that is offering this facility on an Airbnb site. And as always, buyer beware. And again, you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you again for tuning in. And as I always say, you guys travel safely, and we will see you next time here on Wild Travels. Bye-bye, everybody.